Once Warren Buffett said, "The best investment you can make is an investment in yourself. The more you learn, the more you will earn." I would like to welcome you all for another investor education session, Market Pulse by SC Securities and Daily FT. Today we are going to discuss about the overall market. We have seen a lot of all-time high levels. So we would like to give you an update on and the summary how the market has performed and how it's going to be in future. Joining me today, Charitha, Head of Research, SC Securities, and Saliya, Technical Analysis Specialist, SC Securities. To start today's discussion, Charitha, could you please give us a brief summary of our market performance?
Miflal, 2021 has been an outstanding year for the Colombo Stock Exchange. Year to date, the all-share price index have gained over 57%. And since the market recommenced trading after the initial lockdown during early 2020, the all-share price index have gained over 6,200 points, or in other words, over 140%. And if you look at the year-to-date daily average turnover in 2021, year-to-date, it's around 4.6 billion per day. This is a significant improvement compared to the previous year, where the daily average turnover was roughly about 1.8 billion. So, compared to 2020, in 2021, the daily average turnover has increased from 1.8 billion to 4.6 billion, which is a significant rise. Now, if you look at the reasons why there's a significant rise in the performance of the stock market, there are several reasons. I would say the foremost reason is the reduction in interest rates. This had made fixed income securities, the yield, to become very less attractive. Thus, investors are shifting from fixed income securities into equity investments. So, the demand for equity investments have risen over the last couple of months. And another reason I would like to cite is the digitalization of the stock exchange. Thereby, the number of active CDS accounts have significantly increased over the last couple of months, as well as the number of active internet trading users. So that is another reason why there is a huge increase in the market activity levels. If you also look at the corporate earnings of many listed companies have significantly increased over the last 1 year period due to several reasons. Reasons such as the import restrictions have given an edge to local manufacturers. Then there is high demand globally for certain commodities, so the commodity prices also have risen. And the tax concessions given by the previous budget, there are tax concessions given to certain industries, so those companies also have benefited. So all in all, when putting all these factors together, it had improved the investor sentiment of investors. And I would say that is the most important thing for the market to grow. There can be so many other factors contributing, but if the investors are not confident, you don't see that the market going up. So right now, the investor confidence is at a very high level.
Charitha, you have mentioned that the all-share index have already moved up more than 57% year to date. Do you think the market is overpriced?
Miflal, to answer that question, if you look into the past, in 2011, the market reached an all-time high of 7,811 in February. At that point, the Colombo stock market was trading at a market PE of 29.5 times. Whereas if you compare the current situation, where the index is almost near 11,000, the Colombo house is trading at a PE of around 13.4 times. So compared to the historic norms, by no means the market is overvalued. If you look at another dimension, if you compare the Colombo browse with international regional markets, the Colombo stock market is still trading at a very low PE band of 13.5 compared to markets such as India, which is trading around 28 times, Philippines is trading around 22, then Bangladesh is around 20. So compared to regional markets also, the Colombo browse is not overvalued. Thirdly, if you look at the corporate earnings, I mentioned about this point earlier as well. The corporate earnings have been steadily growing, especially in companies which are index heavy. And if you look at the outlook for these companies, the outlook remains very positive. So the future earnings potential of these companies is very strong. So considering the future earnings potential, I don't think that the market is overvalued by no means. So the answer to answer your question, is the market overvalued? Simply no.
Saliya, being an industry veteran, experienced in the market more than 30 years, you have seen a lot of cycles, market cycles. Just take the history, there are a lot of cycles. So we are also in another cycle right now. Do you think, based on your experience and in the perspective of your expertism in technical analysis, do you think the market is overpriced, or where the market is at the moment? Would you like to share some insight about the market?
Yeah, thanks, Miflal. As a matter of fact, it is not only the ASI that we got to compare, we have to align that with the SL20 as well. Talking of the ASI, we know that on the 17th of November, we made an intraday all-time high of 11,117 points, which is the present resistance. And thereafter, there was a pullback to make a low of 10,547 points, which is the present support level. Now we can see that there was a reversal to the upside, where the market right now is probably about 200 to 250 points away from that intraday all-time high, which the rally has to take it, or rather catch up to that level to reach or test that resistance level. If by any chance the present reversal to the up is getting rejected at that resistance level or below that, there can be another pullback to test that 10,547. Let's say if that support level is going to be rejected and the index is going to break down that level and test lower price index ranges, we can expect right now to find support between 10,000 and 10,500, and we expect that range of that 500 points is a fairly kind of a wide range to form that support base. That is very important way forward. If there is going to be that strength in that area and then there is a reversal to the up, we will once again retest the present intraday all-time high. Thereafter, there can be a breakout. Depending on that strong support base, there could be a breakout above 11,117 and test the next resistance levels. In the short period, if you look at the wave behavior or the wave analysis, we can see that 11,200 to 11,700 points is where the resistance levels will be tested by the index. That's about the ASI. Talking of the SL20 is more interesting. The reason is, we know the ASI broke above the 2011, as Charitha mentioned, the 2011 all-time high, quite convincingly. Thereafter, there was another all-time high in January this year. That was also broken out quite convincingly. And now the ASI is testing new ground and moving into uncharted territories. You see, when an index or a stock moves into uncharted territory, the consolidation and the strong support base is of utmost importance. There is no two words about that. We need to be mindful of that. Now, taking the SL20 has a different kind of a structure. The reason is we saw a Jan high of about 3,703 points. Thereafter, there was a correction in the SL20, and it was more kind of retesting that resistance level for a while now, for probably more than a week or so. And today we saw on closing basis that the SL20 breaking out that 3,703 and closing at a higher point. Now the best part is when the ASI has broken those records, SL20 is lagging behind. Why I'm saying that? The reason is the all-time high of the SL20 is in January 2015, where there was an intraday high of 4,310. We are now a little over 3,700. So basically, you have more than 600 points to catch up to at least test that all-time high. Incidentally, personally and at the same time, if you take technicians, we look at long-term moving averages to find out the trend confirmations, bullish or bearish. Now, as far as a bullish confirmation, trend confirmation is concerned, we look at the 50 SMA crossover above the 200 SMA. Now, the reason why we take the simple moving average is because it is more slower compared to the other types of moving averages, exponential and DEMA, that is double exponential, triple exponential moving averages. Therefore, it is very important or very useful to see how the crossover of the 50 to 200 day moving average is happening in any instrument. As far as the SL20 is concerned, in December we saw the daily crossover taking place. And do you know that last month the weekly crossover took place? Why the weekly crossover is important is because when we move into a crossover, bullish or bearish, in the weekly chart, it's relatively a long-term chart. Therefore, when we see a bullish trend confirmation in the weekly chart, by using the crossovers, it stays on for a while, right? So that doesn't mean that things are just going to happen overnight. As I mentioned, the consolidation in uncharted territory is very, very important. There is a lot of drama happening in terms of fundamentals, in terms of many other macro and micro scenarios, economic and other factors. All those fundamental reasons will contribute to the fluctuations inside that consolidation period. So as far as the ASI, the SL20 is concerned, they are in the bullish trend right now. The latest entrant is SL20. As a result of that, along with consolidations, we will see the trend extensions unfolding. So it is important to understand how the behavior of SL20, the behavior of inherent stocks inside the SL20, for us to understand how fruitful it will be for the ASI. That's how I take it.
Just a follow-up question, Saliya. This crossover you are talking about, is it also known as the golden crossover?
Absolutely, yes. When you see the 50-day or the short, the faster or the short-term moving average crossing a long-term moving average, it is known as a golden crossover. But the most important golden crossover is the 50-day breaking and crossing over the 200-day moving average. So it's a golden crossover.
This has happened on SL20, the heavyweights.
Yeah, exactly. The heavyweights have made a golden crossover last month.
That's really good news.
Good. That's right.
Moving on to Charitha, based on Saliya's comment on SL20 golden crossover, which has lot of, which comprises of heavyweight counters. What is your view based on fundamental side? Is there any industries which are still undervalued and untapped in the market?
Yes, Miflal, there are several sectors that are undervalued in the market. I think amongst many sectors, the most undervalued sectors are the telco sector and the banking sector. If I'm to elaborate a little bit more on the telco sector, the telco sector earnings have improved by over 16% in FY 2020. And if you look at the last 5 years, its earnings have grown at a CAGR of around 17%. Despite this strong earnings growth, if you look at the share prices over the last 52 weeks, the share prices of telco companies have marginally come down. If you look at the outlook for the telco sector, the outlook remains very positive because the demand for data-like services is growing, especially after the COVID-19 impact. So many things have digitalized. So the future looks very positive for them. Considering all these factors, I think telco sector is one of the most undervalued sectors in the industry. Even if you look at their dividend yield, the dividend yield in the telco sector is one of the highest dividend yields amongst many listed companies. As I mentioned before, the banking and finance sector is also so undervalued. It's trading at a PE of around 4.5 times on a 4-quarter trailing basis, and the price to book value is less than 1. Apart from these two sectors, I think even in the manufacturing sector, there are certain companies which has a strong earnings potential, especially the ones which are benefiting from import restrictions and ones which are earning dollar revenues. These companies also could benefit in the future. So compared to its future earning potential, I think these sectors are also undervalued in the market.
Saliya, based on Charitha's comment, he has commented that the telco sector is undervalued. Mainly there are two companies, Sri Lanka Telecom and Dialog. Based on your perspective on technical analysis, how do you see these two counters?
All right, as far as price action is concerned, if we look at the SLT stock, in 2021, it made a high of 42.90 and a low of 31.50. Thereafter, recently, there was a rally, a short-term rally from 32 to 39.20. And at the moment, it's going through a consolidation, trying to form a base between 35 and 37.90. Now, as far if we look at the price behavior in SL20, probably due to the counter being an illiquid counter, we see spikes in the price movements, and that is exactly what happened from 32 to 39.20 rally. Now the same thing can happen once again once this the consolidation is over and a breakout above 37.90 takes place. Most importantly, if the fundamentals are going to back it, that will be the catalyst for a breakout, and any breakout above 39.20 right now can test the resistance levels up to 49.50 in the stock. That is why SLTs as far as price action is concerned. When you're talking of Dialog has a kind of a system where the prices are behaving at different price bases. At the moment, in 2021, it made a high of 13.30 and retraced to 10.60. So the low is 10.60. Now it's trading around 11 rupees. So the support is at 10.60, and we can see that there's a very strong resistance at 11.30. So you have a base between 10.60 and 11.30. A break above 11.30 will take it to the next stage where it'll trend between 11.50 and 12 rupees. The absorption, the accumulation in these two areas will determine how powerful the trend breakout is going to be. Purely on the basis of having the price at 13.30, which is the present resistance. So the accumulation factor between this range, the present range of 10.60 to 11.30, and then 11.50 to 12 rupees, will be very important for a major rally to happen in dialogue. So that's how I see the two telco counters.
Dear viewers, hope you got a good understanding about the market. Hope to see you in another Market Pulse program. Thank you.